Welcome to the Bushido Gang. What's up, guys? It's Attack on Samurai, and welcome to my first team building guide for the Pokemon Sword and Shield Crown Tundra metagame. So, I haven't done a team building guide in a while. Last time I did one was for Rhyperior back when the home meta started. So yeah, it's been a minute. It has been a minute since I've actually gone down and done a team building guide. But I want to do this guide for not only the new Pokemon but also for the returning ones as well, like Blaziken, Salamence, and Garchomp and all of them. So I'm gonna try and do as many as I can. So yeah, the first one I'm actually gonna be discussing is Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres is probably the one, out of the three of the birds, it's the one that is least talked about. But it's also the one that I think has some potential even without its recovery option. Because newsflash, the birds don't have roost besides Articuno having recovery. So yeah. But anyways, before we get started though, with this team building guide, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord Bushido Gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. Also follow me on my Pokeamino and check out my Smogon profile. All those links will be down in the description. Trying to reach my subscriber goal of 300. We are 4 subscribers away. So yo, hit that little subscribe button, man. Hit that little subscribe button so we can get that 300, and I can do even more content for y'all. So yeah. Anyways, Galarian Moltres. So stat wise, it actually has some really good stats. 90 HP, 85 attack, 90 defense, 100 special attack, 125 in SPDEF, and then the rest, and then it's 90 in speed. So this is actually the slowest out of the 3, which I think it was originally. Regular Articuno was base 85, I think, if I remember correctly. I think it was base 85. Yeah, so regular Articuno was base 85. So this is now the slowest of the birds. So, but I mean, it's not really like that because it had the same speed tier anyway. So it's not really the worst thing in the world. But a lot of people did expect this one to be pretty fast, but instead we got a bulky kind of Moltres, which kind of makes sense since that does go into its ability being Berserk. So what Berserk does is that when you're at half or below, if you're at half or below your health, then you get a special attack raise. So that is actually pretty cool and does make Moltres a effective wall breaker, and even a stall breaker to some extent too. Even though it can't really do the stall breaking rules since it doesn't have roost, but so I think it could still be pretty effective at that. So I have these 5 sets here. This one's going to be Black Glasses with Nasty Plot. This is Life Orb. This is Heavy Duty Boots with Rest and Sleep Talk. This is going to be this is going to be a Specs Moltres. And then I have a Choice Guard Moltres. So this one right here with the Black Glasses is meant to boost Moltres' Dark type Dark type moves. So we're going to be able to boost Fiery Wrath and also pretty much just Fiery Wrath, which is a stronger Dark Pulse. So this is a base 90 move, so it's 10 points higher than Dark Pulse, and it still has the same flinch chance. But for doubles though, it actually hits more. It can actually hit 2 targets. So that's actually pretty cool for those double players out there, or for those VGC players out there. I think you guys will actually enjoy this mon quite a bit. Now, I think Fire Dance is actually pretty cool. Again, you're able to pressure quite a bit of the metagame to some extent. You hit a lot of mons neutrally as well. So it's not too bad, honestly. Also, you do take on the other... Well, I mean, you don't take on a Galarian Zapdos that well, but you can definitely take on... Or, I mean, you definitely wall the hell out of Gardecuno. But yeah, Gold Trace right here is still pretty effective. So what you want to do with this is it's basically just Nasty Plot up under a sub, and then you can just get off some really strong Fiery Wraths or even some strong Hurricanes. I'm glad they at least gave Galarian or they gave Gold Trace Hurricane, because now I'll be able to, it'll be able to break through its answers again. Breaking through the fighting types that don't want to come in on this thing since it is part dark. And I mean, it just hits things neutrally. Flying coverage is just overall a great thing to have, because again, it's one of these it's one of those typings that just hits a lot of the metagame pretty hard, on the neutral side anyway. So yeah, it's something that that is definitely needed on this mon. So yeah, again, this is just like a standard one. You could do something like this. Now here's a Life Orb one. This one is gonna take Moltres' attack and also like boost its special attack as well. So this one is just gonna be like a full-on attacking one, or I mean a 3 attacking one with Nasty Plot, but it's mixed. So we have Nasty Plot, Hurricane, Fiery Wrath, and Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is actually really cool since there are a ton of ghost types in the metagame right now. So you can pressure Aegislash, you can pressure Dragapult as well, so since you can just Sucker Punch it. Same with the faster dragons or the faster psychics like Zam and Latios, and the Latios I mean. So you can actually pressure them pretty nicely, and you can even take a hit from them pretty well too. So it's not too bad, honestly. But yeah, again, this mon's main job is just to get damage off with it. I think it's better to set up with this thing on a switch-in potentially. That way you can get the most amount of damage on this thing, or you can get the most amount of damage on your opponent with this set. So yeah. Again, this one's gonna be more like it's gonna be more like specially invested. So it's gonna be like mild to boost his special attack. So Fire Wrath will be doing a lot of damage, and same with Hurricane as well. So yeah. And also another thing is that if you do get worn down, then you can get your Berserk up and then be able to hit even harder with Fiery Wrath or even Hurricane. So it's not too bad. Again, pressures quite a lot of the metagame with Fiery Wrath plus Hurricane. Like Dark and Flying coverage is actually pretty nice. It's pretty nice for this metagame. So I think people are definitely sleeping on this thing a little bit. But yeah, if this one did have Roost though, it would definitely be a lot better. Or I mean, it would have a little bit more what's the word? It would be a little bit more can't think of the word, but yeah, basically, you can make this thing mix. So again, this is just another option that you have on Galarian Moltres. This one is going to be a rest sleep talk one. So the idea is to basically throw off some hurricanes, get some damage off with this, and then be able to like if you get low enough to the point where you're at Berserk range, you can just rest up and then get your sleep talk off, and then be able to get off a Hurricane or Fire Wrath. So rest is the only recovery option that the birds have. That Galarian Zapdos and Galarian Moltres have in terms of recovery. So rest isn't really like the best recovery option for it, but I mean it's what Game Freak gave them. So so yeah, it's kind of what they have to work with until they eventually give this thing roost. But yeah, again, what you want to do is like put yourself, or I mean, it's just to wear opponents down, and then put yourself into the Berserk range to get your to get off a strong like Fiery Wrath or a strong Hurricane, and then you can still like repeat this process. So yeah, it's pretty cool. This is actually I would say you could use something like this on a more of like a stall breaking kind of team. So maybe like a balanced team. Once the metagame starts to like really develop, I think people could opt to try out something like this on bulkier teams. So yeah, because again, like its bulk isn't that bad. Like again, 90 defense and 125 speed def is not bad at all. So definitely take advantage of that. Now this one's gonna be specs. So a specs Moltres is probably like the best thing you could really get out of with this. Well, I mean this one and this one. These are like the best options that you do have to get out of, or for right now to get the most out of Moltres. So in terms of like Moltres' move pool, it doesn't have fire moves. It's just like the original form. So it only has dark and flying coverage. So it's not going to be hitting as hard as you think, but still, this is like this is pretty much like the best option that you do have with Moltres. So Fiery Wrath, just to be able to get out that stronger Dark Pulse, or to be able to get off that stronger Dark move. And I mean, in terms of like Dark coverage, like it has good Dark coverage, but at the same time, like it's not like it's very limiting. It's very limiting. But Still, you have your Fiery Wrath to deal with the Psychics and Ghosts, and just hit things neutrally anyway. Hurricane hit things neutrally. Then you have Hex. This kind of works. I mean, this is kind of like the same way how Dragapult is ran, where some variants or where some Specs variants ran Hex on this with like T-Spikes. So you can probably do the same option with this and probably pair it with like Naganadel or maybe even Toxapex. Probably Toxapex on a more like of like a balance or like bulky offense team if you really want to do that. But Naga could also work as well. But I don't know if it could really work like right now. But that is an option that you do have with this mon. So again, get your T-Spikes up, they get poisoned, and you can just Hex down and get off some really strong damage with that. Plus, again, if you do get put into your Berserk range, then a Choice Spect Fiery Wrath is going to be doing even more damage. So yeah, it's definitely something that's possible here. That's definitely something you could do. Again, in terms of like how limiting it is. Again, I'm just trying to get as much as I can out of this moment. that's why I want to make this thing like fully, specs, max speed, max special attack. So yeah. Then lastly, we have the Twist Scarf set. So this is kind of taking inspiration from Yveltal. Yveltal being like one of the premier walls in Ubers. Since in Ubers it used to run a defensive set or a defensive Choice Scarf set with Foul Play, U-Turn, Defog, and Roost. Well, we don't have Roost on this, but this is kind of like that same thing. So Fiery Wrath, again, just to get that damage off and also to potentially flinch things as well, which could actually benefit it since it is Choice Scarf as well. So having a Choice Scarf mon that has like a 20% chance to flinch things is pretty decent actually. I mean, you can see Togekiss like as an example, but but yeah, it's just more of like a support kind of Moltres that you can opt to run. Foul Play is going to be there for those heavy physical attackers, and then you have Memento. To add a little bit more support to your team, so you can memento a mon, sack Moltres and then be able to set up with your mon in the background. So for example, something like, I guess since Blaziken is the move right now, you could probably say Blaziken as an example. You could probably like memento whatever the mon is, and then you can bring in Blaziken, then you get out for free SD. So that's just something that Moltres has that potential to do, or has that potential to be as a utility mon. To be honest, you could make this thing max HP if you really want to. But again, this is just an option that you do have. And then U-Turn is going to be there for the Switch initiative, which does help out the rest of the squad. So yeah. Now in terms of like where I think this mon is going to end up being, again, Roost is so, like, not having Roost on this thing is just so, like, it's so sad. it's so sad, man. Like, this mon had so much potential, with the sub Roost set, but, can't really do that. You can't really do that. This is the best it can do if you really want to make it like a, if you really want to make it in a way that it can break through, stall. I really think that Sleep Talk Breast is the best option that you have. So yeah. We have to be aware of getting knocked off. If you get knocked off, then Moltres becomes pretty hard for this mon to really get what it do what it needs to do. But yeah. However, its regular form will probably still outclass it though. Just because like regular Moltres has a lot more coverage options than this one does. So unfortunately, this mon is just gonna fall underneath the original one, which kind of happens with the other Galarian forms as well. Again, Galarian Articuno is the same. It's the same as well. In terms of like its coverage options, Galarian Zapdos is the one that definitely got the most out of this, or got the most out of its move pool. Since it has a lot more coverage options than these guys. So yeah, kind of sucks for Galarian Articuno and Galarian Moltres. Except, Galarian Articuno has recovery, but this one doesn't. I really don't understand Game Freak's decisions. I really don't. So going back to this set though, if you don't want to go Dark Pulse, you probably could go. Well, I mean, in terms of like other special attacking options, it doesn't really have too many. I guess you could go Shadow Ball if you want to be able to hit what's it called? There's a mon it can hit with Shadow Ball. I'm trying to like figure it out. I don't think there's. I mean, I don't know. Like Shadow Ball's okay. If you want to hit like, but I mean, like you already have Fiery Wrath and Dark Pulse. So Shadow Ball just feels kind of like redundant. So I think Dark Pulse and Fiery Wrath can still work the same way. You have that double chance to flinch, so it's like a 40% chance technically. Well, of course, this one has more power than this one. But this is like an option that you have. Like if you get like PP Salt, then you have Dark Pulse to fall back on. So yeah, that's pretty much that, I'd say. Again, I'm gonna try and do a live with Galarian Moltres and show you guys the potential that this mon has, because I do think it has potential with against some of these sets. So yeah. Haven't really figured out like what good teammates would be like great paired with it. I'd probably say that you're gonna need like some way to stop fairy types. So probably a steel type would be good with it. So you could probably pair it with like Magearna or maybe even Genesect right now. Even Aegislash is actually pretty decent. Since they both cover since Galarian Moltres covers Aegislash's weakness of being of Dark and Ghost. So those two could actually work pretty well. And yeah, and probably even like even having your own fairy type too could probably work as well. But I think Magearna would probably be the best option for like a fairy type partner with this thing. But yeah, that pretty much covers the Galarian Moltres, aka Goltres. So if you guys did enjoy my breakdown of this set or of this mon, please let me know in the comments below. Also, I want to know what other options that you guys have discovered while you've been trying out Moltres. I'm very curious about what you guys have come up with. So let me know in the comments below. Because again, this metagame is still very, very new. So new ideas are being made like every time someone gets on the ladder and play. So yeah, get out there and experiment. So yeah, be safe, wash your hands, and I will see you in the Pokemon Showdown live with Galarian Moltres. Peace out.